Well, hey there, everyone. It is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. Welcome to Inspirations for Your Life. This is Saturday. It's June 22nd, 2025. Incidentally, this is our last Saturday of June 2025. Welcome to Inspirations for Your Life show. Great for you to be here. If you guys are thirsty, well, feel free to go get yourself something to drink or something to eat. Hot, cold, sweet, tart, healthy or not, it's totally up to you. Also, be sure to check out BelieveMeAchieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations, which you can do 24 hours a day at BelieveMeAchieve.com. All right, guys, without any further ado, well, it's time to, launch our master topic for the week, and that is Walking Forward with Purpose, Series 4, Show 27, Episode number 1. All right, guys. So, welcome once again to another powerful and thought-provoking episode of the ever-popular Inspirations for Your Life podcast. I'm your host, John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, podcast coach, video producer, engineer, and a lot more. And tonight, I'm diving deep into timeless quality that shapes who we are and how we connect with others. I think that's a very important thing. Loyalty in a world that often prioritizes convenience over commitment. True loyalty stands out like a beacon. Join me as we unpack what it really means to stand by others, especially during life's hardest moments, and how loyalty transforms relationships, communities, and ultimately, well, ourselves. Are you ready? Let's get started. Number 1, stand by others during challenges. Loyalty is tested not during easy times, but when storms arise or hit. It's in these challenging moments that standing by others truly matters. When we show up and stay present for people navigating hardships, we become, well, their rock, a pillar of strength, and really strong reliability. This not only uplifts them, but also defines our character and who we are. Loyalty means being that steady hand when others feel lost or they're overwhelmed. And I think this can be a challenge for a lot of people, regardless of where they are in life. And so, number 2, loyalty shows in difficult times. Talk is easy when everything's going well, right? But loyalty is proven when times are tough. It's during these moments of struggle that our true colors actually emerge. Being loyal means showing up even when it's inconvenient, uncomfortable, or costly. It's about demonstrating through our actions that we value and honor our bonds, no matter what that is. All right. Number 3, true support doesn't waver. Real loyalty is consistent. It doesn't disappear when circumstances change or when relationships hit a rough patch. Instead, true support holds steady, reminding others they are not alone. When we stay rooted in loyalty, we become dependable allies who others can trust in any season of their lives. Number 4, loyalty builds trust. And yes, with trust comes respect. Loyalty is a foundation for genuine trust and deep respect. People remember those who stay by their side, and over time, this creates unbreakable bonds. When loyalty guides our actions, we cultivate relationships where mutual respect flourishes, and that respect strengthens both personal and professional connections. So I think it's important to understand what that means and how we show up in the world, because I think sometimes people in the world, they don't necessarily know how to show up or why to show up. I think that could be a very, very big challenge for a lot of people. So make sure you understand that, in your own world. And at number 5, guys, presence matters more than words. Loyalty isn't about grand promises. It's about showing up. Presence speaks louder than any words we could say. When we are physically or emotionally there for someone, especially during the trials and tribulations, we show loyalty through our quiet strength and also our commitment. Sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, it's what we don't say that actually supports someone. Number 6. Ready? Okay. Number 6 is hard moments reveal real loyalty. Let's say that again. Hard moments reveal real loyalty. Challenges strip away the superficial and reveal what's real. Hard moments act as a mirror, showing whether our loyalty is genuine. When we stay the course during adversity, we prove that our loyalty isn't conditional or fleeting. It's part of who we are. I know it's important to acknowledge and embrace. Loyalty, guys, strengthens relationships. Loyalty is the glue that holds relationships together through the ups and the downs. Every time we choose to stay loyal, we deepen the connection. Over time, these loyal choices build relationships that are resilient, supportive, and enduring, the kind that stand, as we'd say, the test of time. And now, guys, here is, well, the whole show is great, but here's the part of the show that I like the most. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to give you a personal, basically a personal, let's say, lesson or a story. Basically, one for each point. Okay. And so my hope is that by doing this, I'm going to create a connection. I'm going to get you to see that this is more than just content. This is something that really has the ability to transform our lives. But I think everyone gets so busy in their life that they don't always have time to transform because, they've got their own stuff. And I get it, but I think it's time that we do take that break, that we do see what matters in others' lives. All right. So, number one, stand by others during challenges. This seems very easy, but it's not. Early in my entrepreneurial journey, I had a close friend who was going through a tough time, losing his job and struggling with some family issues. Many people drifted away, but I made a point to stay present, checking in regularly and offering help whenever I could. It wasn't about fixing his problem, but simply being there as a steady presence. That experience taught me that loyalty during hardship isn't about grand gestures, it's about consistent support and when it's inconvenient. Now, the part I should tell you is that I was there for that person, didn't expect anything back. And after I helped that person left me flat. So that can happen sometimes. But that didn't make me feel any worse for wanting to help them. I did what I needed, and that person needed that help. Unfortunately, that person was not the right fit for me, and that happens. But again, I never wished the person anything bad. It would have been nice if they were still friends, but I understand that that we're not. Being that steady hand during his storm not only deepened our friendship, at least for time, but then it broke away. It shaped who I became, and then his ideals and core values just flip flopped. He got in with the wrong crowd. I realize that loyalty shows its true colors when everything else seems to fall apart, even when the other person becomes disloyal, for whatever reason. Standing by others in their hardest moments builds a foundation of trust that lasts far beyond the crisis itself. And I think what happened in his case was that the crisis was too big. And when I helped him come out of it, it was like he really just wanted to rebuild with people he didn't know. And I never held anything against him. But it was like now that I helped him solve the problem, he wanted to basically start off with all new friends, which I think was terrible. But he did what he did. Number two, guys, loyalty shows in difficult times. I once worked with a business partner from a company who faced serious health issues during a critical project phase. Many colleagues distanced themselves, but I chose to step up, adjusting deadlines and sharing workloads to ease the pressure. It wasn't always easy balancing my own responsibilities while supporting theirs, but I believed loyalty marked a point, showing up no matter what. In these difficult times, I saw the real value of loyalty emerge. I think that's the most important thing. This period tested my commitment and taught me that loyalty is not just a word, but it's a daily choice that we make, especially when it's hard. The experience strengthened our partnership and taught me that true loyalty often means sacrifice. Even though this person worked for another company, I was able to make the schedule accommodate them and allow them to still remain part of the project when many other people would have probably forced him to get out. I realized that his personal challenges was not a reason that he shouldn't be able to complete the project. So we did everything we could to make sure the project moved forward. Number three, true support doesn't waver. You know, sometimes people say, well, I'll support you today, but I won't support you tomorrow. And so in one of my early startups, still going actually, I had a mentor who stuck by me through repeated failures. When others doubted my vision or walked away from me, he remained a constant source of encouragement and practical advice. His unwavering support reminded me how powerful consistent loyalty can be. It wasn't just about cheering me on, but being there steadily for me, even when results weren't immediate or obvious. And I think that's the problem with some people, is that when they don't see the results tomorrow, it's like they suddenly feel like, oh my gosh, like, what do I do? Because, I don't have results today. And I think, keeping your mentee on the field is not easy, especially when there's lots of reasons for them to want to give up. All right. And I'll tell you that it's important. It's important to understand that we have to become that person, the person that we want to be. Even when times, guys, they're extremely tough. Okay. They're extremely tough. This kind of confidence and steadfastness and loyalty gave me the confidence to keep pushing forward despite minor major setbacks that I still was encountering. It showed me that real support isn't conditional on success. It's about being present through every high and low, almost like a friendship. So a friendship is not conditional. When I believe I was in high school, and I wrote a paper comparing the street lamp versus friendship. And it was my first comparison paper, but it meant a lot to me. And I think the reason that I wrote it is I wanted people to understand that my friendship was not conditional, unlike many people's was. So I talked about a street lamp and the fact that in order for a street lamp to go on, most traditional street lamps need a few things. You needed power, okay? You obviously need the bulb, right? You need the lamp, but you needed it to be dark. So you work on a photocell. They would come on when it would get dark or dusk and go off when it would become light, dawn or light. And so I mentioned that, these lights go on and off, but they are conditional. Friendship is not conditional. And if you have a friendship that's conditional, you know what that means? It means that there are things preventing things from happening. Okay? And I know what you're probably saying. I know you're saying, John, well, that was an isolated case. No, it wasn't. So I explained the difference of a light because, see, some people in my high school, they decided to flip on friendship whenever they needed you or whenever they felt lonely. They just decided to become the friend. But then when they were too busy, they would just flip it off. And I said, true friendship is not conditional. But people that make friendship conditional are people you don't want to be your lifelong friends. That was the most important thing. I got an A on that paper. And although I did, many people in my school did not understand the meaning of that paper. They didn't understand the reason that I wrote it, the reason that I was a true unconditional friend. But many people were conditional based on what you did, what you said, what money you had, what money you didn't have, how you dressed. That affected whether you were friends or not, who you dated. Number 4, loyalty builds trust and respect. Years ago, I had a team where one member faced a personal crisis. I chose to prioritize loyalty by adjusting expectations and offering flexible support without any kind of judgment. Over time, this person, they became one of our most dedicated and effective contributors. The trust built Through that loyalty deepened our mutual respect and created a strong bond that lasted well beyond the crisis. This experience taught me that loyalty isn't just an abstract idea, but a practical leadership tool. When people feel genuinely supported and trusted, they respond with respect and commitment. Loyalty paves the way for relationships that fuel both personal growth and professional growth. And I think that's something a lot of people have a hard time, let's say, swallowing. And that's the fact that, there are personal friendships and then there are also business friendships. What's the difference? Well, a personal friendship is there for you so that you can learn about each other. You can hang out, do things fun together, right? Build that friendship. A business friendship has boundaries, and that friendship is more a relationship whereby it's existing for the purposes of doing business. Whether you're working with a new client, whether it's somebody on your team or your sales team or management team, you're working so that you can basically have the common good for all concerned for the company. There's no real interest in keeping the relationship together for you as a person. It's just for the company. Now, sometimes business relationships can become personal. That can happen, right? And a personal relationship can become business. But I think you got to be careful when you do that. You got to realize, that you're not going to let each other take advantage. There could be that pro quo where I do this for you, you got to do this for me. So you have to be careful when you decide to do that. Number 5, guys, presence matters more than words. And I know so many people that spend hours trying to pick the right words, but you know what happens? Those words don't really mean anything to anybody. They don't mean anything because they're just empty. There's no heart. There's no soul. There's nothing with that. I remember attending a wake of a dear friend who had supported me quietly over the years. During my own challenging times, he rarely said much, but consistently showed up, whether it was a call, a visit, or just sitting in silence. His presence was a profound form of loyalty that words could never match. That taught me that being physically and emotionally present is one of the deepest expressions of loyalty a person can have. Since then, I've made a point to prioritize presence in my relationships, whether it's with my family, friends, or colleagues. Showing up consistently, even when the words feel inadequate, builds a silent strength that speaks volumes. Presence is often the most meaningful way to demonstrate loyalty. And I think a lot of people miss that. And the reason they miss that is they're looking for something superficial. All right. Superficial is something that causes a lot of people to be challenged because they think that they're doing the right thing. But in reality, they're not, guys. They're not doing the right thing. They are pretty much, giving you a con job, right? And I think that's important to realize is that sometimes we get sidetracked because of a misconception or because of a perception that someone else gives something. You remember we said this before. Our perceptions create our reality. Let me say that again. Our perceptions create our reality. And if our perceptions truly create our reality, then how do we move forward? Well, I think the best way to move forward is we have to understand that where we are now is probably one of the most important things. Okay? It's one of the most important things. And when I say where we are, if we don't know where we are, then we can never get anywhere else. So that sounds a little confusing, doesn't it? How do we figure out where we are? Well, we take a survey. We figure out, what's going on in our life. We figure out what makes us do something a certain way, what makes us respond, okay? What makes us be part of something, okay? What makes us be part of something. And so making us part of something is who we are, okay? And by saying who we are, it aligns with our goals, our aspirations, okay? That's very, very important to understand, all right? And by knowing that, I think it's important to realize, like what it's about. And it comes down to being who we are, okay? And that could be an issue. And I think that's a challenge for a lot of people. All right. And so when I tell you that you have to figure out who you are first. Now, there's a lot of people in our world that are going to try to tell you that you've got to be a certain way. And I think the only way you've got to be is the way that's best for yourself. That means you don't discriminate, race, religion, orientation, creed, color. You're respectful of people. It's okay to agree to disagree. And you don't have to like everybody, but you need to be kind, courteous. And you need to make sure you're not making people feel, well, bad. I think that's a really big challenge. You've got to make sure that you're not making people feel bad. And I'll tell you that it's important that you understand this, because once you understand who you are, what you stand for, and what motivates you, it's not only going to motivate you more, but it's going to motivate others. And that's going to help define your character. Right? Number 6, hard moments reveal real loyalty. During a difficult business failure, many so-called friends, well, they disappeared. But a few loyal individuals stayed with me through the fallout. The painful experience was a reality check. This happened right around Storm Sandy. Adversity strips away the surface and reveals who truly stands by you. I remember getting out of college, and some of my close high school buddies would come over. And then once, let's say, I got to another level in my life, I was like not in their bracket. Did I get higher than they were? Yeah. Was I nasty to them? No. But we drifted apart because our core values didn't align anymore. Again, a painful experience, but it was a reality check. Again, adversity strips away the surface and reveals who truly stands by you. It showed me that loyalty isn't something to expect lightly. It's something earned and proven in hard times. That period was a humbling, but also a clarifying time for me. It reshaped my understanding of loyalty as a deep, tested bond, not just as something convenient or a shared success. From then on, I valued relationships grounded in authentic loyalty that persists through challenges. That's important. Number 7, loyalty strengthens relationships. In my personal life, I've seen how repeated choices of loyalty strengthen bonds with family and friends. Even when disagreements or difficulties arise, the decision to stay loyal and work through the issues creates deeper connection and trust. These relationships become sources of joy and support precisely because they've been tested and sustained over time. I've got to tell you that one of the best ones I can give you is a dog. Now, I don't have a dog, but I do like animals. And dogs are extremely loyal, whether it's getting you your slippers, getting you your paper. Dogs are loyal to you. Like, you do things with the dog's always there for you. And, that dog is got a power. I know one dog that actually kept, let's say, persistently, um, you know, uh, let's say, nudging his owner. And by doing that, that owner was still alive today. So I think those are remarkable things. And I think you've got to be respectful of pets. But pets do a lot for people, their owners. And you might say, John, how is that possible? Well, you give the pet shelter, you give the pet food and water, you give the pet love. And pets really thrive on that. You start loving a pet, that pet wants to show you affection like 24/7. Now, some pets don't do this, don't get me wrong, but I think it's really important to understand how a dog is like man's best friend. They don't discriminate. All this has taught me that loyalty isn't just a feeling anymore, but it's an ongoing commitment. Each time we choose loyalty over convenience, we build relationships that can weather any storm and grow stronger. Loyalty is that hidden glue that transforms acquaintances into lifelong allies. But then why, John, are some people not my friends even though I've done a lot for them? Well, some people were never going to be your friend. I'm sorry to say that. They just were never going to be your friend. They were there for, well, convenience. They were looking to see what you could do for them, what you could give them, how you could help them. I've had those people. And I've learned that you don't start being loyal to people and committing to people until there's some give and take. I've had people that I help get a job and then they suddenly disappear off the earth. They get married and I don't hear from them anymore and not even a thank you. That's okay. It's taught me that you have to be, say, a little bit stingy on who you're giving your true friendship to. Acquaintanceship goes to everybody, right? But when you talk about true friendship, right, that weathers any storm, you don't just give that out like candy or lemonade, right? That's something that you're giving to people who are giving back to you. And although it's unconditional, you don't keep giving it if it's not a two-way street. Does that make sense? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight for our brand new master topic. Do check out BelieveMeAchieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. Remember, everyone, let's all walk forward with purpose, which is what we're going to do this week. Have a great night, everyone.